Hi folks, I'm Monica Dybel and I'm your host, coming at you from MJ Foods US Corner Kitchen. Today we're making a stuffed chicken breast. A lot of times people think of stuffed chicken breast with kind of like just spinach and maybe a little bit of cheese, but there's all kinds of opportunities that you have in your refrigerator that you can work with. They're just waiting there for you to say, oh, put me inside a chicken breast. So what I have done is I've come up with some luncheon meat that I had purchased for sandwiches, and the luncheon meat is by Primo Taglio, and it's Black Forest ham. So it's kind of in a way a spoof on a chicken cordon bleu, but it's not going to be rolled with breadcrumbs. So this is what we're going to do. We have a little olive oil that we've heated, and we're going to saute some of the items, okay? And we're going to begin by going ahead and adding your salt to your oil, okay? Next thing you want to do is you want to also make sure your flame is turned down to a medium set of circumstances. We're not trying to cook what we're going to put in the saute pan 100% of the way through, but we're trying to speed up the process so we enhance the flavor as the chicken is going to be roasting. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little fresh cracked pepper to my saute pan, okay? And you can add as little or as much as you like. I happen to love fresh cracked pepper. It just adds a nice tone to it. And what we're going to do next is we're going to add one shallot that's minced fine, some green onion, which is about 4, and we're going to go ahead and let that simmer a minute. How you put your ingredients in is how you're going to build your flavor profile. If you're going to allow this to turn brown, at that moment in time, if you wanted to accent it with a little white wine, that's when you would do that. I'm not actually going to add white wine to this segment. Okay, so this shallot is starting to become clear in the process. That's when you're going to add your garlic, which is about 6 cloves here. When your garlic starts to turn slightly golden, and not 100% of your garlic, but only some of the pieces, that's when you know that your mixture is starting to change, and that's going to allow you to go into adding the next ingredient. I'm going to go ahead and add about 4 leaves of fresh sage, okay? You want to make sure that you use it sparingly, because if you don't like the taste, it's very overpowering. Okay? Alrighty. When you start to smell the aroma of the sage, you can go ahead and add in your asparagus tips. So I have used about maybe 5 pieces of asparagus. I cut the raw end off, and I use the rest of the stalk and the tips. And so, like I said, you can add any vegetable that you like, but you want to break it down, such as we're doing, to build your flavor profile. Okay? And this is just enough to get it seasoned and still be somewhat al dente after the roasting process. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and cut the heat on this saute mixture. What I have going right here is the next segment of the chicken breast. Is I have used a little bit of precious ricotta, and this happens to be from another project I worked on. So it's 1 cup of ricotta, and I have about 1 cup of white cheddar cheese, and I have about 1 cup of Black Forest ham that I have minced, okay? The next thing that you want to do is you want to add some Italian parsley, which is about half a bunch. I work in bunches. I don't work in tablespoon measurements because I don't believe in it. You have better flavor when you work by half, quarters, and fulls, okay? So I'm going to add this in. You never want to saute your parsley because parsley is a matter of making your items really bright and flavorful. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix all these together. Pretty simple. And once I have all this mixed together fairly well, You could put it in a food processor if you like it finer. I'm kind of doing it rustic style, out of curiosity. Okay. Every time you cook, you learn something more. So that's kind of the adage that I take. And now I'm going to go ahead and add my sauteed mixture. So it's important to have these items together before you have your sauteed mixture prepared. Okay. Once again, you want to mix it all together. And right now is the time when you're going to want to taste your filling. There's nothing worse than having something all the way cooked and there's nothing you can do about it then. So if you're going to cook, you need to taste at every step, because that's how you're going to get your flavoring profile right. Okay, that's perfect. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to come over here to our chicken breast. I have a chicken breast where I have filleted it slightly, and fillet like butterfly fillet. And I haven't taken it all the way to the end, where you would take it to a point of pounding it out. What I try to do is create a pocket. It was the type of breast that I purchased unknowingly, and once again, sometimes you never know what you're going to cook, so you just buy because it's on sale. So what I have done is I have seasoned the chicken breast with salt, sea salt, and black pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder on both sides. Once again, you have to season both sides of the coin. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and squirt them with just a little bit of oil, because you need to add, you have to keep them moist. And you do this on the inside, that's the cavity there. Once again, the cavity there and the cavity here. And if you've ever seen the stuffed chicken breasts in most of the supermarkets that they sell in the meat department, most of them are not seasoned. They look beautiful, but they're not seasoned. So I'm going to go ahead and put my filling here, and that little cavity will keep it tucked very nicely. Okay. And I have a pan, which was what we call le creuset, and it is an enamel iron pan. It's heavy. It's probably about 15 pounds, but they cook beautifully. And it has a lid, and you can just put them into the oven and roast it, and your stuff just comes out beautifully. But you have to have that strength to be able to operate it, and you have to use two hands when you use this pan. Okay. Once again, it doesn't take too much time, but it's just something that gives you lots of flavor and something new. Now, the last thing that we're going to do to this is we're going to add some panko crumbs to the top of it. And some people would go ahead and add some Parmesan cheese. So that's up to you as to how you like to do that. Rinse my hands. And this filling made just enough for if I had one more breast, I would be stuffing that breast. I'm going to go ahead and add my panko. Like that. It doesn't take a lot. I typically keep my panko in my refrigerator because it keeps the bugs away and it keeps it fresh. You can use Italian breadcrumbs. You can make your own. It's whatever you think you want to do, how much time you want to spend in the kitchen, okay? Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of water. Not much, but just enough so it keeps it moist as it's roasting. And we're also going to add some dry chicken base, and this is to keep the flavor profile from fading. Unfortunately, everybody thinks water is an answer. Water is not an answer because it has no flavor in it. So all you're doing is you're destroying anything that you have put together. All right, so that's all, folks. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the lid on it, and we're going to go ahead and roast it. And we'll see you in the next segment. Hi, folks. This is Monica Dybel coming back at you in Corner Kitchen. We're finishing up our Black Forest roasted chicken. And what we did is we went ahead and put the chicken that was prepared in a Le Creuset. We put it into the oven at 325. Before we did that, we added a little bit of butter, a little water, and some chicken stock so that it would keep our chicken breasts moist and succulent. We roasted it for about an hour at 325 with the lid on. For the last 25 minutes, we opened up the lid and let it brown. See how beautiful that is? Nice, juicy, and succulent. We also paired this chicken with a Vietnamese red rice. It's very similar to a wild rice, or it could be almost the same. It's probably the cousin to a wild rice. But in order to fix this and fix it very easily, we soaked the rice for 2 days. And that was constantly changing the water. Start with hot water, pour it over a cup of rice, or a cup and a half of rice, and you let the starches flow. And so what happens is that this cracks the bran on the rice, so then therefore your cooking time is more expedient as opposed to 4 to 6 hours sometimes when you're working with wild rice if you don't let it soak. We sauteed the wild rice, the Vietnamese red rice, in 1 leek, an onion, and some garlic, a little olive oil and butter, and we just put the lid on it. So it doesn't exactly steam or cook like a regular rice. It works more like risotto. There's not so much starch, but the end result, it looks like risotto but does not taste like risotto. After it came out of the pan, we tossed it with a little fresh tomato chopped and a little bit of lemon juice. And we put the chicken on the bed of the Vietnamese red rice. And look, it looks so lovely on the plate, and it's garnished with just a little bit of green onion. We invite your comment at Corner Kitchen, mjfoodsus@gmail.com. Please email us. Until next time, this is Monica, your host.